Aloha, this is Anna Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Saturday, October 11th, 2025, but this is probably going to get published on Sunday, October 12th, 2025. I got so much to cover this week, and I'm still not able to do my financial news stuff, so hopefully I'll get that out by Monday. Thanks so much for joining us on santasurfing.locals.com. We have lives, and then also I want to thank you so much for supporting our show and joining us as a subscriber on x.com. So we have what's available is ad-free videos or podcasts for you to enjoy without having any advertisements. And then I am officially off of Rumble. I was supposed to do that on Wednesday, but I had hiccups, and so it's going to be by tomorrow will be my official last day on Rumble. So please come join us on our YouTube channel, which is right here. It is beach_broadcast. So we need to talk about the Letitia James indictment, and Bolton or Barry is next. ICED and troops will, and this just came out. I want to thank Gabster on X for sharing this with me right before I was ready to record this podcast. Troops will get paid on October 15, 2025. Thank you so much, President Trump. So let's talk a little bit about Letitia James. Oh my gosh, this is one of four of the things that she's got going. So they're going to be kind of busy. The swamp is going to be really busy lawyering up and doing whatever they need to do. So she's got a couple of different things on mortgage fraud, but this one I want to share with you. This is not why she got indicted, so I'm sure this one's going to be coming up pretty soon. But this one is she used her dad's name, her papa's name, as named the daddy Robert James and Robert James and Letitia James his wife. Okay, it's getting really weird because Ilhan, married her brother, and what happened here. But the indictment that I'm going to share with you isn't about this property. So this is a particular property in New York, which I'll share once that indictment comes through. I think they're just doing slow drips. And I think what's going on is this, just my opinion. If they threw every indictment, all of their crimes into one big indictment, where let's say Letitia James has all these charges, felony counts, several different indictments, and James Comey, same thing. And if we have a judge that says, one of them's not going to stick, so therefore I'm going to dismiss the entire case. So President Trump, his team, the DOJ, whoever's putting this all together, they're doing it very, 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 very cleverly. They're actually doing one here, one there. So once they come up for a little air, boom, another one will hit. They come up for air, boom, another one's going to hit. So that's how I kind of see this. I will share a list with you, an updated list with you on the swamp list of events towards the end of this podcast. Now, what she is getting charged with is this property in Virginia. So at this particular property, I'm going to show you a video of a citizen journalist going to this property. She is also known, Letitia has been caught harboring a fugitive. Her niece's daughter, so it's jailbird niece, is hiding out in Letitia's primary residence. And this is the Nakia Monique Thompson. Now, journalists were trying to find out if Letitia lives at that property. So apparently she doesn't. So check this out. I'm going to share this with you. This is posted by Tony X2.
Hi there. I'm a reporter with the Daily Caller News Foundation.
Goodbye. You're trespassing.
I'm sorry.
Trespassing. My kids are out here.
I understand. We mean no trouble. We're just curious who the occupants of the home are,
Don't worry about who's occupants. That's none of your business.
Well, there are connections. There are connections to New York Attorney General Letitia James.
That doesn't matter. You're trespassing.
Are you related to Letitia James?
Do you know her?
You're trespassing. Go in the house.
Do you know Letitia James? No? Okay.
You're trespassing.
No comment. Thank you,
Don't
ma'am.
come up to my house no more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a good one.
It's gonna be powerful.
You will. Be well. Okay, well, who lives here?
Who lives here, ma'am?
No comment. Okay.
They sound nice. I'm just kidding. Look at you guys. You guys are out there on the streets doing what you need to do, doing your anon stuff, doing your digs. These are Daily Caller citizen journalists that went out on April 17th, 2025, before the indictment actually came to fruition. So the first person saying you're trespassing, well, they were on the sidewalk, but okay, whatever. And then they want to go ahead and check the other property, and no comment, get off my property. Okay, so it got a little sus, right? Letitia, she's actually involved in multiple crimes, but you could take a look at the court document for this crime right here, and she is charged with 2 counts of a felony. on her Norfolk, Virginia property. Bank fraud and false statements. And so you could see here it's on around August 2020 through January 2024. And so she went through what she is saying that this was her primary residence. Well, she doesn't live there. So how could it be her primary? She was able to get favorable terms and not have to pay because you have to put usually a higher down payment. You have to a higher interest rate. And she wanted to save on a lot of that. And she did. But that is on Letitia. So have fun in court and enjoy your orange onesie, Letitia James. But that's exactly what she was charging, falsely accusing President Trump for, his mortgage or getting a loan and undervaluing or overvaluing his properties. And the banks were saying, I don't understand why we're even here. But okay, so she did that. Now, John Bolton, okay, the Wally, he seems to be on deck. So here we got this meme of he's peeking through a peephole, and there's President Trump and Kash Patel with handcuffs. But this is the article from Gateway Pundit, and if you click on this, it will take you to the Gateway Pundit article. So Bolton is expected to face criminal charges for mishandling classified information in the coming days. So that looks like that's coming up. Now remember, we have seen this headline just after, we've seen this headline, we've seen others, and then all of a sudden Comey got his indictment. And then we've seen other headlines, and all of a sudden Letitia gets her indictment. So again, are we seeing more of these, like Bolton he's going to get charged, and then is it going to be someone else like, I don't know, Loserberry? Because President Trump through Il Donato, he is seriously hinting that Barack Obama is next. He's like, and then we've seen this before, but it's all wishful thinking for me, but boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be something? But he's like, you're next, Barry. And again, he calls him Barry. Loserberry. So Loserberry we know it's eminent for him, but he's got a big army of just brainless thugs, which I'll get to in a minute. But so now we have now think about this. We don't have just two civilians that got indicted. We have a former FBI director and a sitting attorney general for New York indicted. Think about how big that is. I mean, that's pretty big, right? Now, yes, we aren't seeing the handcuffs and the arrest, but wouldn't you rather see the indictment? I mean, if you saw the handcuffs, they go in for the arraignment. They have a liberal attorney. The liberal attorney says, I'm going to dismiss this because there's no charges. Can you imagine how upsetting that would be? So let's get that solid information first from the grand jury, not coming from Trump. It's coming directly from the grand jury, and then they can go ahead and do their legal proceedings. To me, that seems to be just as good as seeing a perp walk, right? My opinion only. But will the DOJ keep piling up new indictments for these people? Because we know Comey's got a lot more. He's got a conspiracy charge that's in the works right now. So, man, and they want to take that case to to Florida, which is Trump judges. And then we got Letitia James. Again, I'll share her list in just a moment. She's got a pretty long list. But will they keep piling up new indictments so that they have to keep lawyering up and lawyering up and lawyering up? And then the lawyers are going to say, hey, we don't have any more space because, we're kind of stretched thin with just one client. But this should keep them busy for quite a few years. Interesting timing, too, for all of this to happen. The funding is going to go away in as much as they're saying, we've got $10 million and we're going to give Letitia James a portion of that for her to defend herself. Can they? No. These are personal loans that she took. These weren't for the state of New York. Okay, so grand jury indictments are coming from the grand jury itself, not President Trump. The media and the left, they all blame Trump right now. Fake news media, I should say, but they blame Trump for everything bad that happens to their party, their BFFs, their criminal thugs. That's how they work. And anything good they don't like. It's like, come on. But remember, Obama has his case for his treasonous conspiracy case that has Obama, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan in it. It's sitting with the grand jury right now, guys. Has been since early August. So let's see what happens, what evolves after that. This is a Breitbart article, so you can click on here if you want to grab that. So ICE is on it. ICE. The videos that we see of the riots in Portland, Oregon, and in Chicago, Illinois are showing agitators and Antifa fighting against ICE agents. these thugs haven't seen the full force of our military. Now, again, we're not seeing the illegal aliens necessarily fighting against ICE. We're seeing the shield, the human shield that's trying to protect those illegal aliens, defending them, and they're trying to beat up ICE, and ICE is not they're not backing down. They are going full throttle. But the military just arrived, so can you imagine how that's going to be? The military, I mean, come on. They've got combat training. They know how to deal with thugs like this. So thugs are getting arrested, but the fake news isn't showing that. And remember what President Trump said about these thugs. He said that let's send them to a different country to see how they like it. Those people are going to end up in a CICOT El Salvador prison and just wish they never picked up a bat of anything that they assaulted ICE or any law enforcement federal officer, period. So their day is coming. Remember, the news is not reporting that. They cannot report that because they're in complete denial. Right now, today, they are saying, I don't know about ICE or Antifa. I never heard of Antifa. Antifa is kind of, I don't know. They're trying to normalize mortgage fraud. Everyone does it. They're trying to normalize or not make Antifa the headline, but it is. For an example, this is that MS-13 thug that went to CICOT. He was like, I got to get out. And then we had one of our senators, Democrat senators, go out there, have lunch with him, lemonade with him, talking to him, trying to get him to come back to America. He did. The news calls this criminal MS-13 thug a Maryland man. He is a criminal, illegal alien thug. Period. But he now said, oh, I can't go back to... So they said, okay, we've got a small little country in Africa, Eswatini, that you can go to. And then the judge said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to hold this up. And now the judge says, okay, can't do anything. You got to get deported. Ghana was on the list, and he wanted to go to Ghana. And guess what? The prime minister of Ghana says, we don't want him. The minister of foreign affairs says, we don't want this thug, that Garcia dude, Albrego Garcia. They don't want him. So isn't that an example of what is to come with other people? They're going to be, remember what President Trump said, Stephen Miller said, they will be in exile. So if they have no country that wants them, and they're out in the middle of, maybe they're out in the middle of a prison barge out in the ocean, right? Think about that. They will be living in exile. They will be living, I don't know, on a rock, on a little island that has nothing and that's gated. Will they be an alligator Alcatraz? Well, again, that is exile. No, I have a feeling there is going to be no country that will want any of them, including Loser Barry. Remember that cute post about Kenya Obama's going to claim Kenya as his birthplace? I really paraphrased that, so let me get it straight here. When we're done with him, he'll claim Kenyan citizenship as his way to escape. Don't you already think President Trump's already got that all worked out, right? And will the Kenyan government even want Obama? I read years ago that they don't want Obama. So will Obama be living on a prison barge out in the ocean? Again, we know the real one got dealt with, but they will be in exile. These are examples of that. ICE on X posted a clip. I'm just going to share this with you. About if you're an American citizen and you put your hands on law enforcement, then you're going to go to jail. This is a quote from the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons. Check this out.
There's been a controversy about ICE agents in Illinois accused by some Democrat politicians of zip tying children after agents raided an apartment seized by TDA gang members. Could you clear up the confusion there?
You would think that elected officials would be happy that, Homeland Security investigations, the Border Patrol and FBI took control of a apartment complex that was vacated and taken over by Trinidad Arago gang members, which is now a foreign terrorist organization. It was terrorizing the south side of Chicago. But instead, you have, comments like that were zip tying children, arresting American citizens. The only American citizens that are being arrested are those that are listening to the politicians. You can't put your hands on a federal law enforcement officer. You can't impede ICE vehicles. You can't try to, help an arrested criminal illegal alien escape. You can't do that. And if you're an American citizen and you put your hands on law enforcement, then you're going to go to jail.
Between Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, and Todd Lyons, we have a pretty strong team, and they have no mercy whatsoever for any of these agitators at all. Now, what the fake news is failing to talk about are the penalties for these agitators. Penalties for interfering with federal operations, it depends on the nature. It can range anywhere from I'm going right down here, a Class A misdemeanor to a Class C felony. Simple assaults, which does not require physical contact, is punishable up to 1 year in prison and a fine up to $100,000. If the act involves physical contact or the intent to commit another felony, it's a Class D felony up to 8 years and a fine up to $250,000. The most severe is up to 20 years and a $250,000 fine. It applies. And then additionally, any threats to assault, kidnap, or murder a federal official or their family with the intent to interfere with official duties are punishable up to 10 years in prison. The laws covered everything. So you got somebody out there yelling and screaming, they could face 1 year in prison and a fine of $100,000. They got somebody that they're using some weapon of some sort. And again, there's going to be the criminal charges as well when it comes to attempted murder or so these thugs, they think right now, they think this is still under the old rules, so they're going to learn the hard way. We know Tom Homan, he's very active in taking action for an agitator, but what happens when any news breaks of their funder or supplier to create a war against our own federal agents is if that person is indicted or arrested? My thought is that this is why President Trump sent out the troops early on, because we're now beginning to see a lot of things unfold. Scott Bessent is looking into every single dollar flowing into Antifa's hands. So we know now that any funding that's going through any of these government agencies and indirectly funding can't be through checks. It all has to be digital. And as of September 30th, it has to be digital. But now Carolyn Levitt, she said, Scott Bessent has launched an investigation to track every dollar that's been flowing into Antifa's hands. So they're going to see where it's coming from and who it's going to. And again, Antifa is not looking at it that way. Although I have to say a lot of them are trying to do this because they want the views on their stations. My recommendation is just take a screenshot if you want, and then I just say this is what's going on. And because we've already, I don't know, I don't really like to see these videos anymore. They're just a bunch of just nasty thugs. I just would like to see the streets all completely clean, and that would be wonderful. We're going to soon learn how Obama was involved with this. He has an organization called Organizing for America, but it's now known as Organizing for Action. It's a radical group formed by Obama. It's a foundation. He was doing this to disrupt President Trump's agenda and presidency. It's an army of over 30,000 brainless thugs, okay? They'll do anything to keep the Democrats in power while trying to weaken the Republican Party, including specifically President Trump and during his term. Now, when the Obama grand jury releases its indictment on Obama, because we know that's imminent, his foot soldiers, they're going to revolt. Now, this is when Trump is always 10 steps ahead by sending the military out in advance. So here's an article from Gateway Pundit. Barack Obama was using U.S. aid to pretend to send aid overseas, but was laundering it to train rent-a riots instead. I hope Obama gets he gets an indictment for this, because this is what's destroying the country. That's his only goal, was to stab America in the back. President Trump isn't backing down on what he's like, okay, the Democrats got the country closed, the federal government closed down, I'm going to go ahead and take some action. So what does he announce? That he is going to get rid of every Democrat agency, employees, he needs to have loyal people that are loyal to the Constitution, to the country. and to America first. So they had some that were furloughed, and then they ended up getting fired. President Trump, he's trimming the government fat and streamlining agencies. So think about the NGOs, which are the non-governmental organizations working against America, like the DEI, and then think about those 3 or 4 letter agencies that they're heavily supported by Democrats. Now, these agencies, they may have given kickbacks to Democrat politicians. Think about that. And then indirectly funding groups like Antifa, right? What if we find out that one of the Democrat politicians was indirectly funding Antifa? They were funding a domestic terrorist organization. That's where this is all going to go. The purge of their purse is happening right now, and their outrage is showing. It's kind of crazy. Why don't they get outraged with the Democrats that actually shut the government down? So President Trump saying, I'm going to fire people. Up to 1 million federal employees may lose their jobs, guys. So including fake MAGA influencers. I don't know if any of you have been on X lately, but there's some major named influencers. They're kind of going, they're sounding very bat bleep crazy these days. They're posting like crazy talk, and it's like, oh, okay, this is the exposure. The fake MAGAs are going to get, whatever. So the Democrats have themselves to blame for the this sombrero Schumer shutdown. But here's where President Trump says it'll be a lot. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. Russ Vogt, he posted, the RIFs have begun, RIFs reduction in force. And then that was reposted with this clip from Rapid Response 47. Check this out.
How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it will be Democrat-oriented because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally. More important than that, because we all have a big heart. We want people to be taken care of, but we have 0 people coming in. You know that, Glenn, right? That's a pretty impressive number, even for a successful governor. But we've had for the last 4 months 0 people coming in illegally. They're coming in, but they're coming in legally. They're coming in through a process that's really a really good process right now, because we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. So what we're doing is, as these different groups come due, we're going to make a determination. Do we want them or not? And I must tell you, a lot of them happen to be Democrat-oriented. These are people that the Democrats wanted that in many cases were not appropriate. We fought them at the time, and it was ultimately signed in. And some of these people, these are largely people that the Democrats want. Many of them will be fired.
Ooh, the Democrats are seething right now, seething, because again, going back to President Trump said, many of the things he'll do are irreversible. So think about the Democrats' biggest donors, they're big pharma, big corporations. Well, President Trump is really cutting their profits down to like Zippo. They won't be able to donate their big donations to the Democrats. President Trump, when he was talking about the lower drug prices, I'm tying this in with donations. Big pharma, big corporations, they're now working with President Trump. So do you think they even want to donate to a Democrat? The Democrats don't have voters. They don't have their donors. They don't have the base. They don't have any support. They're not having done squat that's been good for the country or for the people. And they have the thugs out in the street. That's about it. They don't have anything else. So President Trump masterfully working on eliminating 8 wars around the world. And then he got the dirty corporations to work with him and make we, the people, prosper. Now, I'll tell you, that in itself is a huge battle to beat. Big, massive battle to beat. And President Trump, he managed to do that. So some of the pending swamp cases, if you want to take a look at this list here, it's the list is long. The fake news, I think the latest fake news said, there's about 4 or 5 more coming. I'm thinking, I don't think so. Look at this list here. We've got Obama, O'Rourke, 51 intel agents, all of this Schiff mentioned twice, Alvin Bragg, AOC, Comey. Now, Comey had to go and testify. Clapper. And then we got, I'm going to show you Letitia James. Here's her indictment right there. But she still has 1, 2, 3 other cases coming up. Lisa Cook, Obama administration. So there's a lot of people in that. Jasmine Crockett, illegal donations from Act Blue. So there's a lot that the fake news, they don't want to talk about it. This one right here is on, oh, yeah, there you go. Rashid, CDC, the 600 that were fired, Fannie Willis, Ilhan, the brother lover, and Trump wants her impeached. So the list does continue, guys. So let's look forward to what's coming up ahead. On Columbus Day, President Trump has said that he will be going to the Middle East. He'll be going to the Middle East. He really hasn't been very clear about what specific countries. He changes it from time to time. So let's just say the Middle East. And they're going to start rebuilding. That was in my last podcast. On October 14th, Bill Clinton's deposition on Epstein is going to happen. On October 15th, Supreme Court ruling that could give Republicans 19 seats and make it a one-party system, guys. That one's a big ruling. And then on October 15th, well, President Trump found a way to get the troops paid. Now, this is what really broke my heart. I saw this yesterday, and it just broke my heart. Rapid Response posted this. The line at the food bank is filled with military families who have no idea when they'll get their next paycheck, all because of the Schumer shutdown. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. Well, that absolutely broke my heart. Then I saw this pop up today. USAA delivers $150 million in loans within 48 hours to service members impacted by government shutdown. And the details of this are that it would be 0% interest. There's no interest. There are no interest loans. It's a pretty quick payback period. It's a no, and they can get a loan up to $6,000, and it's just any way to help a military family. But this is where President Trump posted this today, and I do want to thank, she goes by Gabster on X. I want to thank you for sharing this right before I was recording this. This is what President Trump posted. Schumer recently said every day gets better during the radical left shutdown. I disagree. If nothing is done because of the leader of Schumer, leader Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, our brave troops will miss the paychecks they have rightfully due on October 15th. That is why I am using my authority as Commander-in-Chief to direct our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to use all available funds to get our troops paid on October 15th. And we've identified the funds to do this. Secretary Hegseth will use them to pay our troops. I will not allow our Democrats to hold our military and the entire security of our nation hostage. With their dangerous government shutdown, the radical left Democrats should open the government. And then, again, they've already voted 8 times to not open it. So do know on Monday as well, the hostages come home. So that's a big, big celebration on Monday. We have many things to look forward to. It's going to get a little bumpy, like we've said for many months now. It's going to get bumpy before it gets really beautiful. But President Trump leaving to go to the Middle East, ordinarily his trips this year have been, actually all the times, all of his overseas trips have been financial related. So from what I understand, these are all financial related trips. So let's see what happens. I do want to do a financial podcast. Hopefully I'll get that one next. But I just say, just hang in there. Just keep your faith in God. Know that He's got this. He's got you. And just know that all of this is going to work out in due time. Thanks so much for having the faith. Thanks so much for your fight. God bless you abundantly. Have yourselves a beautiful day, afternoon, and evening. And I will have a show very soon. Aloha.